I knew by the weight and by the look that 2 of these out of 5 magazines were full of blank ammunition. Good day! Look at that! Oh! So I just want to say that I did drive the whole way up here. Right, hold on. Look at that beautiful Jeep, but look at that beautiful view. Wow! I'm up in the mountains of Montana right now, not in Ireland. And the wind is a little bit too heavy for me to record up here, so I gotta do it in the Jeep. So just remember this view. Wow, Montana mountains. So I'm gonna drive somewhere else and do this with better lighting, because you can only see like half my face. Back in a sec. Alright, I've been driving around the mountain for like an hour. I kind of forgot that I was doing a video, and I've just been driving because I haven't been up here in a while. But I can't really find a sheltered spot like out of the wind to do this, so I'm just going to do it in the Jeep. We're still up the mountain. Look at that, look at that. We are completely surrounded by mountain. Anyway, so I was up in the hills of Montana. And if you've been watching the channel a while, you'll remember I did a video just over a year ago called, it's right here, this one, right here. It was redacted, basically. I found something up the woods that I couldn't talk about, and the rule I made to myself, I'll explain in a minute, I'll try and explain everything. So, the rule I made to myself was, I'm going to leave the people do the investigation. I'm going to give them a year. I know it'll take them a couple of weeks, but I'm going to give 1 year before I release what I actually found up the woods that day. So, let me set the scene. It was November, it was a cold day. I think it was November. Myself and my friend went for a walk up the woods, which just so happens to be a military training ground. When the red flags are up, when the red flags are not up, you are permitted to walk and do whatever you want in there within reason. So, there was no red flags up. We went for a walk up the woods, and our usual, we walk these woods all the time, and I also find stuff in the woods here. You know, you've watched the other videos, the military training ground ones. So like the woods is huge, and I walk all over them, and I find stuff in all different parts of them. But this day we walked this particular trail, and we came up to a point where it was a crossroads, and we were standing in the middle of the crossroads, and we were talking about, do we go right or do we go straight on? Because that was the only option. So it was straight on or right. It wasn't really a crossroads then. And while we were standing in the middle of the crossroads, I was talking about finding stuff up the woods. And I don't know how. I literally do not know how. I was wearing the same jumper, by the way. But I looked over and I seen this little tiny, like under an inch size of plastic, brown plastic in the woods. How do you spot that? And I just seen it and I went, I recognize that colour. I know what that is. Now I have, so I'll leave that for a sec. So I went over, I looked at it, I knew by the squares, right, exactly what it was pretty much straight away. It was a magazine from a Steyr semi-automatic assault rifle, caliber .556. That can be downsized to 9mm. Anyway, this was a magazine, and I grabbed it, picked it up in disbelief, showed it to my friend. It was just a magazine, there was no rifle attached to it. Picked it up, it was empty, right? So I was like, technically it's just a piece of plastic, right? Showed it to my friend and said, are you serious? And he went, there is no way. And I went, yeah, it was right down here on the ground. Because he went, like, how did you even see that? And when I looked down, there was more. There was more than one magazine. So then I reached down, caught the second one, lifted that up, opened my front pocket on this jacket, right? And said, well, I didn't open that immediately. Actually, I picked it up. I left the 2 on the ground. I looked down. There was more. Oh my God, son. Hello? There was even more on the ground then. All in all, I picked up 5 of them. Now, 2 of them had ammunition in them. right? Here's where it gets spooky. This is why let's turn up this ND filter and see if it does anything. This is why I left it a year to put out this video. 2 of them had ammunition. Now, it was blank ammunition, right? And I know the difference. I know firearms. I have been around firearms. I know what I'm talking about when I'm looking at ammunition. I know if it's real or if it's blank or if it's loaded, if the magazine has got ammunition in it. I knew by the weight and by the look that 2 of these out of 5 magazines were full of blank ammunition. Holy shit, this sun is really going for it. So then all of a sudden it became, these aren't just pieces of plastic anymore. This is simunition. So it'll just bang. It'll just pop. There is no projectile in the top of it. So I said, first of all, I'm after disturbing where these are now. And this is quite the walking path. A lot of people do walk here, so I can't put them back down here. I kind of was like, shit, what do I do? So I was like, right. I looked at them, I examined them, I made sure they were safe. And trust me when I say I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to this stuff. If anyone else you don't know, just don't touch anything like that. Just contact police or contact the guards, basically. So I said, I can't leave these on the ground. So I opened my front pocket, this one, and I shoved them in along in the line.
I didn't hear you.
I zipped up the pocket and I said, right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm either going to contact Policia or, well, I said I didn't really want to contact the guards because it would be a huge deal. I said, I'm going to contact the military directly. So I was at home and I have a couple of friends who are in the military and I was like, going to talk to them. And then I was like, yeah, sorry about that. Some weird noise just happened and I thought it was like a dirt bike or something. So yeah, I didn't actually reach out to them immediately. I said, what will I do? I went onto Instagram. I found the military page and I messaged them saying, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. I found something that may be of interest to you up the woods if you want to give me a call. And they were like, oh, what did you find? And I just sent them a picture of the 5 magazines stacked in my kitchen. And they called me immediately. The head of a certain brigade of the military police rang me and was so nice. Like, he was so genuine and so nice and thankful and in disbelief that I had found these. And he was like, how? So all of a sudden it became a big investigation. I was assigned a person, and this person, it was a female in the military police. She was to deal with me, so I talked to the head of the military police. He was so nice. And then it was handed off to this female investigator. She rang me. She was super duper nice. And we were trying to organise how I get them back to them. And because, if you don't know the history in Ireland, it's a bit of a rough pass there with if they're moving firearms or any kind of ammunition or anything anywhere, there has to be like armed guards and multiple vehicles and stuff. You can look that up if you want in your own time. I'm not really going to go into it. But anyway, so between the 3 of us, the head of military police, this female investigator and myself, we were talking and they were like, we need to know where you found it, first of all. To make sure that it was like, that it is Irish Army and it's not some weapons stash that I've come across. I knew it was Irish Army because I know they use the Steyr and I know the Steyr magazine. But anyway, they organised to meet me. They said, right, well, don't touch them. We'll come to your house. And I was like, oh, okay. I gave them my air code and I was like, that's fine, you can come to my house. I gave them my air code and they looked up where my house was, and my house is here and it's surrounded by houses all kind of facing each other. So they said, right, well, we have to send a van with a special safe in the back of it to put this stuff in while we're transporting it. And we also have to send another vehicle, because of whatever rule there is, we have to send another vehicle with armed military and they have to be in uniform. He said, so I don't really want to panic everyone in around by your house by sending military that are fully armed and a van and removing these things. He said, I don't really want to do that. And I said, right, well, you can meet me at, insert shop name here. You can meet me at this shop, which is not too far away from my house. And, I told them that, what I have experience in, and they were happy enough to let me move them. I said I did bring them to my house because I didn't want to leave them on the floor up there. And they said, right, so we'll meet at this shop. And then the female investigator was the person who was going to come down and meet me. And she was like, I don't know where that shop is. And I was like, well, look, why don't we meet at insert military range here? I said, it's not that far away from me. And I can just drive out there and you know where it is. And I said, you'll be happy. I think they were kind of like, what's this guy up to at the same time? But yeah, so I organised that and I went out after work, finished work, drove straight home, picked up the magazines, put them in the passenger seat of the car, put a hoodie over them, prayed to God that I did not get stopped by police for any reason whatsoever, instantly be nervous. And then they pull the hoodie up and they see these magazines. I'd be in a lot of trouble until the military police were able to say, hey, listen, it's all right. I would hope they'd say it's all right. But anyway, oh my God, I'm getting all stuffed up. Anyway, I drove out to location and this is the craziest thing. Like it didn't make sense in my mind. What they told me was, so Stephen, what's going to happen is there's going to be an unmarked car. They told me the type of car. I'm not going to say it. It's going to be an unmarked car and just a plain van, right? No markings on any of them. And the fellas inside the car are going to be in uniform because they have to be. If they're carrying a firearm outside a base, they have to be in uniform. And the van. And I was like, oh, fair enough. I'm just waiting for a car and a van then to pull up. I was sitting in the car facing forward and they were coming from behind me, right? I seen this like string of lights traveling really close together in my mirror and I didn't really take any notice of it. I was like, because there was traffic passing every now and again and I said, oh, it's just someone being impatient. And as I was just sitting there on my phone and as I looked more in the mirror and then the middle mirror, which I can see a bit better, I was like, they're military vehicles. So what happened then was a military Land Cruiser, drives with a big huge ram bar in the front, drives right beside me real slow and pulls in. And then our Ford Ranger, military police, all marked up with the blue lights on the roof. It was camouflage, but it had all the stickers on the side and everything. Like military police pulls in front of that. And then the white van with the registration that they gave me pulls in front of that. I was like, oh. Oh my God. And like synchronized swimming, I'm not joking, they had to have practiced this. The two Jeeps, so the Land Cruiser and the Ranger, all of their doors, like every single door, opened at the same time. And there was so many people. They were all... The guys in the military police vehicle all got out and they had these orange vests that said army across them. They were armed with pistols. There was guys there with Steyrs and they walked over either side of the vehicle and were looking around at everything. I don't know, were they paranoid of an ambush or something. And I was sitting in the little car going, oh. And they all spread out around the vehicle at either side and one of them stayed standing by the military police vehicle. He stayed at the back door of it. He got out the back door and he stayed standing there. And they had obviously pre-planned this, right? So when we get there, we get out and we spread out. A couple of them went so there was a woods right there. They walked a little bit into the woods and over a little bit. I think that they were somewhat anticipating more than a guy sitting there in a little Hyundai i10 going, hello, I found these, do you want them back? So it was weird because then three guys came up to the car. I got out and I was like, how are you going? Chatting away. And your man was like, well, are you the lad who found the magazine up the woods? And I said, I found 5 of them. And he said, 5? And I went, yeah. And he went, oh. And I went, yeah. And then he said, okay, so wait there a second. And he asked me my name and stuff. And he said, right, wait there a second. So he walked off. The other two guys stayed just standing there, didn't say anything. They had pistols on them. I was like, oh, Jesus. So he walked up to the back of the, it was the military police vehicle where the guy was standing. The guy like stepped to the side and he went and he like leaned in the back and he was talking to someone. And next thing, the female investigator, I didn't know at the time, but she gets out in like a suit with like paperwork in her hand. This was like something out of that show. What is it? Oh, the Drone Queen. Hold up, what is it? Shit, I gotta look it up. Yes, it was like something out of Homeland. I watched it ages ago and it was so good. It was like something out of Homeland. All these military guys everywhere, like swarmed. I think there was 12 of them. I think I counted 12 guys. And she just gets out and she walks back to like me and she's like, hello, Stephen, how are you? And I was like, I'm good, yeah. And she was like, she just says to the other guys, you're all right. And they headed off. But they all stayed like lingering around the area. Like, and then we just like sat at the back of the car and she sat in and she like took a statement about, right, where I found them, what day and stuff like that. Oh, the sun is kind of pissing off a little bit. Yeah, like what date, time-ish, location. She pulled out like these 3 maps and she was like, right, can you mark where they were on the map? And I would consider myself fairly good at reading maps, right? I don't know if it was nerves or what, because I was like absolutely surrounded by military guys and she was pointing at a map going, can you point out exactly where they were on the map? When I looked at the map, it was gibberish. I could not. And she was like, right, maybe you can do this one. So she had 3 and she showed me 3 different maps and I was like, I can usually read maps, but I can't right now. And she was like, okay. So she said, would you be willing to, like, accompany us up the woods and we'll find it? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So she took the magazines, handed them off to one of the guys. He was happy out. He looked at them and went, yeah, grand. They put him into the back of the van, into the whatever the heck, some kind of, I presume it's some kind of safe or like travel box or something. And then she was like, right, so this was on a like, I think this was on a Wednesday evening. She was like, right, so Saturday, are you around? And I said, I am. And she said, fair enough, so on Saturday we will, she said, on Saturday we'll go up the woods. And I was like, oh shit, okay. So yeah, Saturday rolled around and I was actually expecting a whole big convoy again. I was kind of excited. I was like, I really want to get a picture with like a military police vehicle because they're pretty rare over here. We don't see them up here all the time. I think I've only seen like 3 or 4 of them in my life. And I was like, I really love a picture with one of those. But sadly, 2 of them arrived on Saturday, just 2 people. It was the female investigator and another soldier. And they were in plain clothes. And they were like, right, come on, we'll go for a walk because you can't get a vehicle up there. Where it was. So we went off up. They had a camera, they had evidence bags, and I brought them up to where it was, and they were happy out. They said, thanks so much. Now, I did ask them, they said, like, you know, what can we do anything for you or anything? I was like, look, I collect patches, you know, like patches. I said, can you send me some? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. We'll do a whip around. I was like, oh, shit, an Army Ranger Wing patch is inbound to me. Never got them. They never sent them. I was kind of disappointed in that. They kind of just went, sound for that, talk to you later. So that was a bit disappointing, but at the same time, what am I going to do with these magazines? And I also said to them, because like we were chatting, because it was a good walk, so we were just chatting. I was like asking them, what's the story with flying a drone around here? They said, just don't do it. They said, this is technically classed as like military ground, and if you happen to fly it over some kind of maneuvers or something like that, you'd be in a lot of trouble. And I said, fair enough. I said I had a fair idea, I just wanted to be sure. I was also asking them about like, you know, the fitness test for the military and all that stuff, and they were like, oh, you should join the reserves if you have any interest. And I was like, I technically was in the reserves before, but the local barracks by me shut down. They did like a big shutdown years ago, just as I had got in. So she was like, oh, join the one with us and you can join the military police reserves, which I didn't even know was a thing, by the way. And I was like, yeah. But then it came around and I was just like, you know what? I have a lot of stuff on right now and I don't think I have the time for that. So they were like, oh, look, we can help you in whatever way we can. And I was more excited about my patches, but, you know, I never got them. So if you watch this video, send me some patches, please. I'd love them. Yeah, so pretty much that's the story. I left it a year before I talked about it because I wanted to give them time to resolve anything. I'm sure someone has got a major kick up the arse for that mishap. It happens. I showed them where they were and I explained how well hidden they were, and if you add anything but absolute sunshine, you would not have seen them. They were like all covered over with grass and everything. So someone just put them down and then obviously just forgot them or just lost them or something. But they were very happy and grateful to get them back. And I was happy because, like, rather than someone else find them and it becomes like a news story straight away or someone just does something stupid with them, I'd rather just give them back and be happy enough with that. So yeah, that's the story. I'll put in some clips of quick stuff I recorded. I obviously couldn't record a major amount with them. I didn't want to be that guy like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, so they were like, oh yeah, I asked them as well. I was like, what's the story with like talking about this? And they're like, look, we can't stop you from talking about it, but we'd prefer if you didn't really mention it. And I was like, that's fair enough. So I think a fair trade is I get to make this video and you keep your patches. And I get to talk about it. But look, if you find anything crazy up the woods, wherever you are, just return it to them. If it looks dangerous, or if you have no experience with anything like that at all, contact the guards and they'll contact the military police. Don't touch anything like that. It can be so dangerous. I have experience, like I said, so it wasn't really a problem. Yeah, so that's been the video pretty much. I have patiently waited a year for this, so if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would love if you did, and I would love if you liked the video as well. I hate asking for this stuff, but, you know, I see lots of views and then it doesn't give lots of things, so just do it, alright? Just do it. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be making loads more videos. I really couldn't wait to make this video. I can now wipe it off my whiteboard. Wipe it off the whiteboard now, because it's been sitting there with a long time in anticipation. I said I'm going to give it a year. Now I actually waited over a year. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. It's an interesting story time / military video. But yeah, that's the story. And I'll talk to you in the next one, which will be very soon. Here's a really nice view of snow-covered mountains for the outro.